Check, check, check. Hey, check 1, 2. Hey, hey. All right, let's start this party. Just check. All right, I think we tilt it up just a little bit. Sorry. How's my face? All right, perfect. Welcome in, everybody. Good day to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for stepping into your yoga practice. And also, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you. So what I'd like to do is give a brief recap of everything we've done so far this month. We started off with going through the different compartments of the mind, which we now know include the manas, which are the sense perception, the part of us that takes in information from the eyes, the ears, the nose, the skin, the touch, and then on taste, and then the manas tries to distill that down and make sense of it. And then we have the ahamkara, which takes the information from the outside world and it takes in from the senses as well and decides whether or not, or better yet said, it decides, how does this relate to me? So the ahamkara creates the ego. It's the part of the mind that says, what does this have to do with me? And the way that I have identified myself. Okay, and then also we've talked about smriti and how the smriti is the part of our memory bank, like the memory in a computer that holds information from our past experiences. And this is also where our samskaras, the deep grooves and patterns of mind and behavior exists, where our pain of our past starts to show up in the present because we're looking through that lens of our samskaras. We also went through the buddhi and the intellect and how the intellect divides things into contrasting experiences so that we can better understand this physical plane, this world of contrast. And we talked about chitta, which is that intelligence that is beyond contrast, the intelligence that is beyond separation, that is the oneness, that is connected to the oneness of the universal energy itself that we call consciousness. And many people have different names for what that consciousness is, but it's the energy of life. However you want to say it is up to you. So we went through the different compartments of the mind, and the other day we started discussing yamas and niyamas, which are deconstructing and reprogramming the mind. One of the teachings that we started off with that I think we need to continue with because it's so powerful is this teaching of Santosha, which Santosha is an interesting one because when I first read it, the translation that I read just had it purely as contentment, just being content with life itself, which can be interpreted and misinterpreted in so many different ways. And so what we talked about last time, and I think is so powerful, and I hope that it's maybe seeped a little bit into your psyche in the past few days, and hopefully you've began working with this idea of contentment, not complacency, but contentment. And contentment, the way that we read it in the sutra book the other day, was being content with our karma, being content with the required actions that lie ahead in order for us to carry out our life's purpose, being content with the challenges that we are facing now and will be facing in our future coming up, being content with the challenges in order to move forward with our life's path. That's different than being complacent to the way things are. And whether we're talking about our current conversation of social justice, or we're talking about our life's path in terms of our career, our family, yes, our society, and anything else, the contentment is not about being complacent to the way things are or the way things were, but rather being content with the knowing that we are about to embark or already embarking on a journey. And that journey requires and demands of us that we sit in the discomfort of change and transformation, for that is the very nature of life. And so the way that it was phrased was very interesting. And that was that when we become content with our karma, meaning the necessary actions and challenges that we face ahead, then we can stop struggling, which means that we can start acting from a place of inspiration, from the place of desire for transformation, from the place of change, from the place of growth and expansion. And so why I want to continue this process of reflection on contentment is because I don't think that a day or two of contemplating it is enough, but maybe a lifetime of it, of course. But checking in with ourselves, and I'd like you to share in the Facebook group and share your experiences with reflecting upon contentment, where we tend to resist our necessary path ahead in order for the greater good of myself and everyone around us. Where do we tend to resist? Meaning, because another way of thinking about it is, where do we tend to resist discomfort? Where do we tend to want to stay in the comfort of the known? Because karma and dharma, action and purpose, none of those imply non-action and staying the same. And neither of those implies, did I say comply? I meant imply. Neither of those imply that we are content with the way things were or the way things are. They both imply that we are moving forward. And the very nature of life, nature itself for that matter, is constantly moving forward and changing and growing. And if we're not doing that with the natural flow of nature, then we will feel the resistance and we will face all of the other challenges that are not productive towards a greater self and mankind. So what we're trying to do with this teaching of Santosha is to step it up for ourselves and everyone that's around us. Remember, our path here in this month we've talked about is going from the place of ignorance to compassionate living through the process of the 8 limbs to start off. But we're moving into that place of viveka, which is the goal. And can we do it in a month? I think we've got, certainly we can make strides, but the path of compassionate living is a lifetime adventure and endeavor. The path to viveka, of journeying inward to go through all of our inner resistance, all of our childhood patterning, going through all of the stuff that says we're not good enough, that we're not smart enough, that we're not kind enough, all of the not enoughs, going through all of the samskaras, the grooves of our mind, the patterns that do not serve us or anybody else around, and going through all of that, going through the shame, the guilt, the pain of our past, going through everything, okay, to get to that place of samadhi, but then coming back down into this physical world and sharing that experience of oneness with each other. This is the path of viveka, and that's the chart that I sent you all in the Facebook group. So I'd love to hear in the Facebook group, if you wouldn't mind sharing your experience so far with contemplation of contentment, where you tend to resist. If you have enough courage inside of you to be vulnerable with us as a whole, share where you tend to resist being content with the challenges that lie ahead, meaning where we tend to push back against the necessary challenges, or push back against the discomfort of change and growth and expansion. Where do we push back? If we can be honest with that, yeah, okay, maybe it still requires a certain amount of unfolding and timing and self inner reflection in order to actually start taking action, move forward. But the first step to those breakthroughs, whether it's on a personal level, society level, is stepping in to the welcoming, the contentment, or the acceptance of the challenges that lie ahead. And again, whether it be in this current, I know some of you are listening live, some of you might be listening to this years from now, and where society is when you're listening to this now might be a different experience. Currently, we're in the Black Lives Matter movement to try to amplify this experience that has been happening all around us, that many of us are not awake to. And we can use this teaching of contentment to say, I'm content with the way things are. And we could use that as a weapon against change, or we could use that as a weapon to stand up to make a change, to stand up to the challenges that we face ahead, to stand up and stand in the fire of transformation, to stand up for each other. So contentment with the actions or our karma that lies ahead for our life's purpose, our dharma, our path, our adventure of life itself. That's what Santosha is all about. So thank you so far for tuning in. And today we have in our physical yoga practice a very challenging posture. And I'm going to give you a few variations that you could start with. And, so far we've done a lot of these bound postures, like bound side angle. We did bound triangle pose. And then we also did these like compass-like shapes, very challenging physical postures. And you've all really hung in with them. And just a quick reminder that the posture themselves is not the goal, but the body awareness that we gain from this physical practice, the awareness of how our muscles move, developing what's called proprioception, which is a neurological muscular feedback loop of understanding how to activate muscles and knowing where our bones and are in space and how to move our joints. This is the goal, and the results may be that we attain cool looking postures, but the results may also not be that way. So can we be content, Santosha? Can we be content with the path and the challenges of the physical practice, not just discontent with not getting the peak pose if we don't get it? Or not weaponizing the posture and saying, and using that to build up my ego and say, like, I can do cool poses. So that's why I want to put the emphasis on contentment in the physical yoga practice is content with the challenges that lie ahead. Content with the challenges of the physical yoga practice in order to bring about greater sense of self-awareness. And again, that I mentioned that the other day, Swadhyaya that's the practice of self-reflection and self-inquiry and self-awareness. And so on the yoga mat, off the yoga mat, how can we be content with our karma, with our dharma, with our purpose, with our actions, with the challenges that lie ahead, so that we can stop struggling and wrestling with our own karma? Instead of wrestling with it and struggling with it, we can step into the challenges and start making real shifts for ourselves, taking action that supports ourselves and everyone around us, so that we stop wasting energy with the internal battle and the internal struggle of resistance and start using that to better ourselves and everyone around us and the society around us that we live in. So that is the practice of Santosha in the physical body. Let's get onto our yoga mat today, starting with child's pose. And knees wide, fingertips, if you don't mind. Bend the elbows to try to melt the chest down so your shoulder blades climb together on the back. Do the best you can with that. I know that the shoulders can be really tight, especially this muscle called the latissimus dorsi, which is the muscle that would pull the arms back down by your hips. Okay, this muscle is your pull-up muscle. When your arms are overhead, it tends to really kind of hold on a lot of tension. So by lifting the armpits up, you're actually activating the latissimus dorsi when you lift the armpits up, but it actually deepens the shoulder joint, gives the head of the humerus, the head of the arm bone, a little bit more space in the joint, and then allows you to melt the chest down, stretching a muscle called the serratus anterior. Let's take a full breath in and a full breath out. 2 more. Breathing in and out. Shoulders stay lifted. 1 more inhale. Exhale. Let's walk the hands over to the left side of the mat and start to stretch the right side body. So reach the right arm long and try to reach the right hip back. Crawl the right fingers forward, and now place your breath in the right rib cage. And then let's shift over to the other side, slowly through the center. Again, you're going to press your left hip back, but really lengthen the whole left side of the body until you feel like an elongation of even the skin from the left hip and waistline starts to lengthen all the way through to the fingers. Breathe into the left side of the body now. Come back to center. Place the palms fully on the ground. Exhale the breath out. Awaken the fingers, grip the ground. On the inhale, come forward, all fours, hands and knees, arch and look up. Exhale, round, child's pose, hips to heels. Inhale, forward, arch, look up, tuck the toes. Exhale back, child's pose. Inhale forward, arch, look up. Exhale around and move back. Inhale forward, tuck toes, arch, look up. And let's move into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes. Take the feet wide for your first down dog. Maybe start with bent knees and press shoulders towards ears. Lengthen the whole sides of the body. Now you can start to bend each knee and wag the tail right and left to stretch and strengthen and lengthen and move all the joints along the sides of the body and in the knee joints and the hip joints. Just kind of wiggle it out a little bit and get into your space. Start to feel the sensations of your body, awaken to them. Now get long, take a longer stance, hands forward a little bit, but still push your hands towards the front of the mat so your hips go up and back. Grip your fingers into the ground, and let's start to strengthen a little bit into the core, warm it up. As you inhale, tuck your tailbone around the back and roll into plank pose. Hold here on the exhale. Now push down with your hands so your upper back becomes more full. And pull your belly in, pull your ribs in. Let's take 1 more full breath in to heat up. As you exhale, place the knees down, come to child's pose. Forward to all fours. Inhale, arch the back. Now lean forward, bend the elbows, chaturanga on the knees, all the way down. Let's do 3 lifts of the heart for the back muscles. Inhale, lift the chest up. If you can, lift the hands up as well. Exhale, soften. 2 more to warm up the back. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the hands if you can. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lift up. Now on this exhale, press the hands down, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward to plank pose. Exhale, child's pose, hips to heels. All fours, inhale. Lean forward, lower chaturanga. 3 lifts. Inhale, lift the heart, maybe lift the hands, warm up the back. Exhale. Lift again, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale, lift the heart. Press back, down dog. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Please bend the knee and open up the hip as you exhale. You can roll the right ankle around, breathe in here. And breathe out. Straighten the right leg on the inhale, square the hips. Let's go knee to right armpit, up and out to the side. Inhale, back end up. Step forward as you exhale. And come up onto your fingertips. Take a full breath in. And out. Gather strength in your legs. Warm up the inner thighs by pulling your 2 feet toward one another. Let the hips lift until you feel your back inner thigh in particular begin to engage. Now press down through your right heel so that your hips go up even taller and your fingers get light. Let's take a breath, lengthen through the top of the head. And as you exhale, twist right hand to the sky. Inhale to release the twist. And again, exhale, turn the belly, turn the chest. One more time. Inhale, touch the ground, fill up the back, get strong in the legs. And on the exhale, twist. Good. Inhale, right hand comes to the inside of your right foot. Left heel pops down onto the ground. And walk your left hand out to the side. All right, so we take this modified humbled warrior. Stay lifted in the chest. Pull your feet toward one another and lift your back inner thigh up so you feel the toning of your adductor muscles. With your front heel, press down and even pull it back, like on a diagonal, as if you're trying to go down into the earth towards the center of the mat. So you feel your buttock muscles activate and your hamstrings activate. Holding here, take a full breath in. On the exhale, bend the elbows and bow. Let's move again. Inhale, lift the heart up. Press your right heel down. Exhale, bend the elbows and bow. Keep the hips lifted. One more time. Inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, bend the elbows and bow. Walk the hands to the front of the yoga mat. Let's inhale to plank pose. Exhale, knees down, child's pose, hips to heels. Inhale forward, all fours, arch, look up. Lean forward, bend the elbows, chaturanga. Now interlace the hands behind the back. Slide the hands to the low back and draw your shoulders towards your ears first, and then shoulder blades squeeze toward one another. Okay, towards the ears first for range of motion, then shoulder blades toward each other. Keeping that, reach the hands up to the sky to the best of your ability. Anchor the pelvis down, lift the heart up, inhale. Softness on the exhale, so release a little bit of effort. 2 more, reach the arms up, inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, soften. Last one, you have an option to lift the feet up if you'd like. Inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale, release. Place the hands to the ground. Let's come to plank pose. Inhale, or all fours. Exhale, down dog. One full breath in here. And out.
Left leg to the sky. Inhale. Bend the knee, open up the hip. Let's enjoy these moments here. Roll the ankle around. Straighten the leg on the inhale, square the hip. Knee to armpit, same side. Outer arm. Inhale, backing up. Step forward on the exhale. Come high up on your fingertips. Take a breath. Soften the exterior of the eyes. Okay, so that first moment of softness is a recognition that, yes, life can be challenging. And when we accept the challenges, we can release the struggle. When we accept the challenges, we can release the struggle. Okay, so we pull our feet from softness, we develop strength. So we pull our feet toward each other and lift the hips up. Staying with that strong lift of the hips, press your left heel down and start to awaken the glute muscles by pressing down into the heel. Keeping that, take a full breath into your back body. On the exhale, turn the belly, turn the chest. Let's do 2 more like that. Inhale. Use the exhale to turn the belly. Inhale. And again, exhale. Inhale, hands to the ground. On the inside of your foot, pivot the back heel down. Okay, with the back heel pivoting down, take your hands to the inside for preparation for humbled warrior, and pull your feet toward one another so your hips lift up, and you really want to fire up the adductor muscles, the inner thigh muscles on the back leg. Keeping the inner thigh muscles fired up by pulling your feet toward each other. Think about activating your left glute muscle by pressing down through the left heel. You'll feel an activation of the buttocks if you root down, as if you're going to stand up more. Keep rooting down and inhale, lift the chest up. Exhale, bend the elbows and bow. Keep the hips lifted. Inhale, lift the heart again. Strong in the legs, lifted in the hips. Exhale, bend the elbows and bow. Again, inhale, lift the heart up. Press the left heel down. Exhale, bend the elbows and bow. Cool. Walk the hands back to the center. Inhale to plank pose. Knees down, child's pose, hips to heels. Inhale forward, all fours, arch, look up. Lean forward, lower, chaturanga. Now we interlace the hands behind the back, other pinky on the outside, so non-dominant grip. Slide the hands to the low back first. To gain range of motion, you go shoulders to the ears using your trapezius muscles. Then squeeze scapula toward one another. Keeping that, reach through the toes and stretch the arms up to the sky. And lift the heart up on the next breath in. Using your back muscles, exhale, soften it a little bit. Again, inhale, lift a little higher. Exhale, softness. Option to lift the feet if you'd like. Inhale, lift the heart tall. Lift all the way up. And exhale, release, hands to the ground. You have the option plank or all fours. Inhale. Exhale, downward facing dog, hips up and back. Let's take a full breath in together. And an exhale out with one another. Take a moment to observe what you've created so far, meaning observe the sensations of your body. Observe the flow of breath that's pulsing through you and the energy that comes from each breath. Right, the breath itself is physical. You can feel it through your nose. You can feel your lungs expanding. But that bridge between the physical breath and the sensations of the body to the non-physical energy that pulses through us can be felt through what's called pranamaya kosha, the energetic body. You can feel the vibrancy of energy that starts to rise through you. Or even if you feel tired, that's also pranamaya kosha. So the energy of your body is part of that, what would be called the energetic sheath, the energetic layer of your system. Walk your feet forward towards the front of the yoga mat. If we start to feel the energy in our body, we become in tune with it, then we can change our physical actions to better serve ourselves. Inhale, lift the heart up. And exhale, bow. And what I mean by serving ourselves is the overall well-being and health of our system, our physical body, so that we have the energy in order to take these practices outside the yoga mat and into the real world. If we don't have that energy, then of course we're just going to always be fighting to remain the same, because we'll always feel like we're on the battlefield. But once we get rejuvenated, then we have the opportunity to take on the challenges of our everyday life. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, bow. It doesn't mean that we still don't try to our best to practice santosha when we are exhausted. We still try to practice contentment with the challenges ahead, but we remember that we also need to rejuvenate ourselves. We also need to take care of this physical form that we are so fortunate to have. Take the hands to the hips, arch the back, and rise all the way up to stand. Place the hands on by your sides for Tadasana. Excuse me while I tuck in my shirt. On the next breath in, reach the arms to the sun, Ardha Hastasana. So you can press the palms together at the top and look up. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana, forward fold. Halfway lift on the inhale. Exhale, left foot goes back. Place the back knee down. Inhale, rise, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to the front knee and thigh. Okay, pull your two knees toward one another and lift the hips a little bit taller. As you pull in and lift up, start to lift the belly, and see if you can take your left arm up and over. So you take a side bend over to the right. Breathe now into your left rib cage. And exhale it out. One more, full breath in. And as you exhale, both hands to the ground. Lift the back knee up, inhale. And pause here for a moment, please. Press your right heel down and activate your glute muscles. And place the hands on the front thigh. So we're coming up to high lunge preparation. The back shin squeezes inward and activate the front of the thigh squeezes in order to activate the adductors. But try not to let this front knee wing in. Press your outer right heel down so the knee rotates out while the back thigh squeezes in. I'll say it again just to make sure you got it. The front of the back thigh squeezes in. That will be inner thighs. The outer right heel presses down. That'll be gluteus, medius minimus, and maximus. So all your buttock muscles, okay? Now rise up and start to stretch the sides of the waistline up a little bit taller. Turn the palms externally outward as much as you can and lift the heart up. Try to get your thumbs to kind of pull back towards your body, feather or open up the collarbones. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, hands by your sides. Again, stay strong in the legs, warming up the hips. Don't worry about how low you are, flexible you are. Get strong in the legs, okay? Inhale, reach the arms up. Again, keep the arms externally rotated, pulling the thumbs back. We'll do two more. Inhale. Exhale. Thumbs pull back by your sides. We're warming up the external rotators of the arms. Inhale. And now exhale, hands to the ground. Now the leg's a little more warmed up. Inhale, straighten through the front leg. Option to flex the foot. Exhale, bow. Let's bend front knee. Inhale, look forward with the chest. Exhale, straighten the front leg and bow. Optional flex of the foot. One more time. Inhale, bend. And exhale, straighten and bow. Inhale, bend the front knee, place the palms to the ground, step back on the exhale, down dog. On the inhalation, forward to plank pose. Chaturanga Dandasana as you exhale. cobra or up dog. Just one breath in, lift the heart. Exhale, downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. 3 breaths here, inhale. Exhale. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Notice the right and left leg, by the way. 1 more. On this inhale, lift the heels up and look forward. Empty the breath out, walk, step, or hop to the front of the mat. Halfway lift on the in-breath. And exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Rise to the sun, Urdhva Hastasana. Press the pinky edge of the palms together as you get up there. Hands to the heart, Samastitihi. Now come into Tadasana. And again, let's actually have bent elbows so that we can really understand what external rotation of the arms are. Rotate the biceps outward. You can let the collarbones open a little bit as you do that, but then see if you can straighten the elbow, keeping the you can use your hand like I am here, trying to encourage the bicep and arm bone to rotate out, and then try to get your thumb side of your hand to try to press into your side, keeping your collarbone open. It's very hard. Do the same thing on the other side, externally rotate, and then try to press the thumb side into your hand, depending on so you have a carrying angle, so it goes out a little bit, but some of you might actually be able to press the backs of your hands into your thighs if you don't have a carrying angle. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Just try to squeeze your arms with external rotation, try to squeeze them in by your sides. Let's take 1 more breath here. And out. Inhale, reach the arms up, press the pinky edge of the palms together. Lift up tall. Exhale, bow, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. The right foot steps back as you exhale. Place the knee down. Inhale, rise, Anjaneyasana. Exhale, hands to the front thigh. Okay, hinge the hips forward a little bit, but also activate your inner leg. So not just flexibility. So you can hinge forward. That will give you range of motion and it'll start to stretch. But now we want to activate those muscles we're stretching by pulling the back knee and front foot toward one another. Your hips will lift again. Your muscles will activate. Keeping that, your left hand stays sturdy on the front knee and your right arm, like you're climbing up a ladder or a cliff or something. You're trying to reach for something really tall or really high up there. So you get the whole right side of the body to stretch and then bring it over a little to the left side. Now bring your breath into your right rib cage. Two more to awaken the right side body, psoas, the oblique muscles. One more breath. And exhale, both fingertips on either side of the front foot. Lift the back knee. Let's take a moment, again, of softness, remembering that the path ahead has challenges, but it doesn't have to be a struggle. Yes, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a lot of effort. All of our path, our dharma, our karma, all of our life's purpose, all of that energy is challenging, but it does not have to be a struggle if we do not resist it, but we embrace the challenges ahead. Okay, press the left heel down, squeeze in, and press down to rise up. Okay, we're going to do the same thing to warm up the rotators of our arms. Turn the palms out all the way up at the biceps, okay? Keep the legs strong and lifted, powerful. The back thigh squeezes in, again, so you activate the inner muscles of the thigh here. And the front heel presses down so your glute muscles are fired up. So you have the leg muscles activated and the arm is starting to externally rotate, so we warm up the shoulder muscles, the rotator cuff muscles. Hold this. Let's take a breath in here. And exhale it out. Now together, inhale, reach the arms up. Try to press the pinky edge of the palms together. Lift the shoulders up. Exhale, the shoulders come down. The hands come down. Rotate the arms as much as you can. Again, inhale, shoulders go up, arms go up. Pinky edge of the palms together. Exhale, squeeze the arms by your sides, rotating the arms out. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up. Hands to the ground as you exhale. Now that our buttocks is warmed up, inhale, straighten the front leg, option to flex the foot. Exhale and bow. Bend the front knee, inhale, look forward. Again, right back into it, straighten the front leg and bow. One more time, inhale. Exhale. Inhale forward. Palms down. Exhale, down dog. Plank pose on the in-breath. Chaturanga, either on knees or lower. Again, one breath for cobra or up dog, your choice. Exhale, back down dog. Let's do 3 breaths together. Inhale. And exhale. 2 more breaths. One more breath. On the inhale, lift the heels, look forward and prepare. Step or hop to the front. When you get there, halfway lift, inhale. Exhale and bow. To the sunrise, Ardha Hastasana. To the heart, Samastati. Inhale, reach up. To the earth, bow. Halfway lift on the inhale. Step or hop back, Chaturanga Dandasana, your choice. Again, cobra or up dog, 1 breath in. Exhale, back down dog. Right leg to the sun, inhale. Step forward as you exhale. Push down, rise, high lunge, inhale. Let's open up Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Hands to the hips for a moment. Move the pelvis back so we're not pressing into the groins as we talked about in the last few practices. Just move the hips back a little bit. And then you could even bend the back knee, but pull your feet toward each other and create a rising up through the central column of the body. If you find that your front knee wings in as a result of moving the hips back, press your outer right heel down to spin the thigh bone out. Hold. Now, staying nice and lifted, turn the palms face up as you reach the arms out to the sides. Let's hold and look over the front hand, 3 breaths. Reverse warrior, inhale. Exhale, side angle preparation. Okay, with the forearm on the thigh again, move the groins back if they came forward and pull your feet toward each other. Keeping that, press your front heel down so you activate the buttock muscles. Start to like a little bit of a back bend. So move your chest forward, and as you form the back bend, turn the heart towards the sky. Option to stay right here, or you might want to slide your right hand down to a block or fingertips on the ground. Hold here or lift the arm up to the sky. Again, you can choose the path that challenges you, but you don't have to throw yourself off the cliff, right? So accepting the challenges of that lie ahead for us, accepting our karma, and again, that's Santosha, contentment with our karma, doesn't mean that we have to, completely throw ourselves into overwhelm off the deep end. It just means to take one step at a time. So choose the appropriate level of challenge for you. Stick with that. And then when it feels like that's gotten easy, then go the next step. Let's do 2 more breaths here. All right, release both hands to the ground. Straighten through the front leg. Inhale, look forward. Exhale and bow. Now, inhale. Bend the front knee for a moment and turn both toes to face to the right, which is going to be a little bit awkward. So both toes face the right. Your front leg is turned out. Your back leg is turned in. And this might be enough. Men, you'll have to adjust yourself. Okay, so just move the men out of the way. Now, with your front leg turned out to the side, you can potentially, and I caution this because it's deep flexibility, you can potentially slowly lower or stay lifted. Try to listen to the IT band, listen to your hamstrings, listen to your calf muscles, and see if they're resisting, then just stay lifted. Okay, take a full breath in and out. All right, coming back to center. We'll step back, downward facing dog. Forward to plank pose, inhale. Chaturanga. Cobra or upward dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. Pause for a moment, feel the right and left hip. Left leg to the sky, inhale. Step forward. Push down, rise, high lunge. Open up, warrior two. Again, move the groins back, okay, but still draw energy up through the legs. Push your, what I mean by that, pull your feet toward each other, and then press your left outer heel down so you firm up your glute muscles, keeping that lift the belly up. Again, make like as if we're serving a tray. You're going to rotate the arms outward. Okay, so with the rotation of the arms outward, then you can spread the arms wide, keeping the external rotation. Hold here. Let's do 3 breaths together, staying strong in the front buttocks activating. Inhale. Two more. One more. Reverse warrior, inhale. As you exhale, side angle position, preparation, forearm on thigh, hand on the hip. If your hips started pressing forward, move them back to re-engage your muscles appropriately, pull your feet toward each other, and press the left outer heel down. Now, keeping the legs strong, and that's the purpose for being here is to strengthen the legs, to awaken the muscles. Keep them strong, but move the heart forward a little like a back bend. And then start to turn the chest towards the sky and pull your top shoulder head back. All right, holding this pose or taking the next step, which would be to slowly slide your left hand slowly, because if you go fast, then you'll just release your muscle activation. We want to slowly slide to keep the buttock muscles active, keep the inner thigh muscles active, keeping that a little back bend to start to turn the heart. And again, you have another option here to reach the right arm up to the sky. And as you're pulling your feet toward each other, most of the time when we start stepping into the challenges, when we see how hard it is, we want to back away from the challenge. We want to give up. But what if we stay in it? What if we accept our karma for what it is, the actions that lie ahead, and stay in it? What would happen? Yeah, I bet you can think of many times in your life where you wanted to give up, but you stayed in it. And I bet there was probably a really powerful outcome. Okay, let's hold on to that memory of something where, we decided to step into the path rather than try to look for all the ways off of it. Okay, and then release, hands to the ground. Walk the hands over, back heel lifts. Straighten the front leg, inhale. Exhale and bow. Okay, and rebend the knee. And again, men, just warning, just adjust yourself. Okay, and then turn the legs out, the front leg out to the side, back leg in, so toes are facing to the left. Take an inhale, lengthen the heart. And only to the degree that's possible for you, you bow. Don't push this one, it's not worth it. Take a breath in here. All right, coming back to center. Exhale to down dog. Forward to plank pose, inhale. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog, your choice. Exhale. Downward facing dog. All right, hold here, breathe in. Exhale it out. Inhale. And exhale. One more time here. Inhale. On this breath, lift the heels up. Empty it out. Hop or step lightly to the front of the mat. Halfway lift when you get there. And exhale, bow. To the sun, rise up, Ardha Hastasana. To the heart, exhale. All right, bend the knees, feet hip width apart or so, maybe a little wider. Hands to the thighs, and lift the toes up. Let's warm up the abductors, the outer hips. By pushing the heels outward, you'll feel your outer hip muscles and buttocks engage, and you'll feel like kind of an opening in the back of the pelvis. When you engage your abductor muscles in this pose, meaning when you push your heels out, it pulls the two sides of the ilium, the two sides of your pelvis apart away from the sacrum, creating a little bit of space back there. We're going to utilize that space and lift the heart. Try to lift the sides of the belly. And take the arms into a cactus-like shape. Pull the shoulder blades toward each other. Take a full breath, keeping the heart lifted in a back bend. Keep your hips moving back and your heels pushing apart. Keep your belly and your heart lifted. Now reach the arms up. Hold here as you exhale. If you can, bring the palms a little forward of your face and press the pinky side edge of your palms together for today. Inhale, lift the heart up. Exhale. One more, full breath in. Reach up. Exhale and bow, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Step or hop back, Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog on the inhale. Exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sun, inhale. Step forward. Push down, rise, high lunge. Open up, warrior two. Reverse warrior, inhale. Chaturanga, exhale. Up dog or cobra pose, inhale. Exhale, down dog. Left leg to the sky. Exhale, step. Push down, rise up, inhale. Open up, warrior two. Reverse warrior, inhale. Chaturanga. Cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right leg to the sky, inhale. Step forward as you exhale. Turn the back heel down and walk your hands to the inside of the right leg. All right. Slowly pull your feet toward each other till your hips lift. And then to the degree that you can, I'd like you to kick from your right butt down into your right heel and just straighten the front leg any degree that you can. And then move your back heel back a little bit to turn the back leg inward. Okay. From this position here, you're already set up for Trikonasana, so triangle pose. The only difference is for today, I'm going to ask you to place your right hand on the behind your heel on a block or like a little lobster claw. The thumb wraps around the heel like so. Now anchor into your big toe and big toe mound as you start to turn your belly and turn your chest. Now you may not get very far. Honestly, this is a very challenging and deep pose, but do your best to turn the back hip down a little bit and open your chest. So your back hip turns down, but your chest turns open. Now those two oppositional energies of the hip turning down and the chest opening will keep you in balance in the pose. Okay, so keep the back hip turning down, the back thigh turning inward, but the chest opening up, and do your best. You might have to, and I would probably recommend, stay looking downward at the right foot and the right hand. If possible, your left arm can do an internal rotation and grab for a half bind. You grab your pants or you grab your leg behind you. Holding here. 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. Bend the front knee. And just step back simply into downward facing dog. Let's do a full breath in here. And out. Left side up. Inhale. Step forward as you exhale. The back heel comes down. Hands come to the inside like you're going to do humble warrior. Okay, but lift your inner groins upward. Pelvis goes up and straighten the front leg. Option to flex the foot like I do here, but that's just an option. Now, the back heel goes back slightly so the back thigh can turn inward. And then if your toes are up from doing the calf stretch, then put them down. Big toe anchors into the earth. And your left hand does the best you can. Place the left hand right behind your heel for a little lobster claw here. Now, this will challenge your balance undoubtedly by a lot. Okay, the back thigh and hip turn down, but push through your left arm and take your right hand to your hip. Now, again, I'm going to tell you this: keep your eyes down on the ground inside of your left foot for balance, but try to open your chest. The option here to slide the right arm down to try to grab your pants or the thigh for a half bind. One thing you could try here that might help you is push your back heel back. So if you push your back heel back, it'll start to awaken your abductors, your outer hip muscles of your back leg, like you did in chair pose. So if you push the back leg back, you might get a little more range of motion in the chest. One more breath here. All right, coming on out of that, stepping back in a down dog. 3 breaths in and out. One more breath. On this inhale, lift the heels up and look forward, but listen carefully. Exhale, hop or step to Malasana squat pose, so feet outside the hands. Come on down and we'll start with the left side. Take your left arm down and try to get your shoulder as deep as you can and open up the chest to the right. With your left knee, press outward. Turn your chest. You can use your right hand on your thigh to turn your chest. And then option to reach the right arm up and maybe even try to grab for a half bind to open the chest here. Let's do 2 more breaths. Unwind. And we take that same Malasana squat variations on the other side. Reach the right arm down and out. Turn the chest. When you're ready, take the left arm up to the sky or take your half bind. Now enjoy the breath. All right, and release. All right, so now I'm going to do a little Ardha Chandrasana half moon, and I'm going to say my suggestion for this is to have a block underneath your hand. So if you don't have a block, some books or placing your hand even on a chair is great, just to decrease the flexibility of this. It's very easy to injure yourself in a deep posture. So take some of the flexibility out by adding a block. Okay. And also, so the block is off on a diagonal forward. And simply what we're going to do is keep the hips slightly turned down towards the ground, left hand on the hip, and then you'll lift the left leg up using your abductor muscles, the outer hip muscles, while keeping the right knee bent. Now, when you do this, your knee will go in. You're going to try to press it out, okay? Then you'll take the leg down, gently tap the ground, and then lift it back up again, okay? So please join me. Grab your block, place it diagonally outside the foot. Make sure you have a nice firm foundation with the hand on the block, the right knee bent. Tap, the pelvis will be turned down slightly for this. Tap the ground. Inhale, slowly lift the leg up using your outer hip muscles. Like Ardha Chandrasana half moon, slowly lowering it back down. Feeling the muscles activate and move every step of the way. Inhale, reaching it back up. And exhale. Again. All right, and let's do the other side. This is phase one of our posture today, doing Ardha Chandrasana half moon with the movement of the back leg. So we place the block down, firmly plant the weight into the left hand now, bend the standing leg a little bit. We tap the ground with the right foot, and then inhale, lift the leg all the way up. You do the same number that you did on the other side. I did 5. I'm not sure if you did 5 or 3, depending on when you started with me. If you were watching first, then I think you did 3. If you were doing first, then you probably did 5. All right, so that's the first drill. Now the next one is a little bit harder. I'm going to encourage you to know that today may not be the day that you continue going further and further, but rather you repeat the same exercise we just did if that was enough of a challenge. Again, we want to accept the challenges that lie on our path ahead in order to really accept our karma so that we stop the struggle. And that is the idea of contentment, of santosha. But we don't want to throw ourselves off the deep end when we're not ready for it and then get into the overwhelm and fight or flight syndrome where then we can't actually take action forward because we're paralyzed, okay? But instead, you want to take step by step and keep going forward. So what you can do now, the next step is to place the block inside the foot, and this is significantly harder, and to place your left hand in front like this, okay? So your block is inside the foot, and your left hand is in front. You can just look at the setup, and then you try to do the same exercise. You see how my right elbow is inside my knee? Okay, that's to prepare me for what's coming next. Okay, so the right elbow inside the knee, and then you do these leg raises again. You're going to find that your left outer hip muscles, your abductors, and your glutes of the left side might be a little bit weak, and that would be normal. So do these with me. Make sure you do about 5 is good, okay? And again, you just go back to the same exercise you were on a moment ago to strengthen your abductors, to work on your balance, or this here is the next step. You can take a rest between sides and feel the sensations of your right and your left hip. Again, the sensations, there's 2 types. There's sensation of like the physical experience, but then there's that sensation of energy that pulses through us that is a little less tangible, harder to explain, and harder to experience because it's more subtle. But you've all felt that. You've felt vibrancy inside before. You felt aliveness inside rushing through you. You can tune into that between sessions. It might be tiredness, and that's okay too. Just observe it, acknowledge it. Okay, again, we could try on the other side here. A block, I think on the second height is a good option. And the elbow on the inside of the knee, you can see my elbow probably from here. And then the right hand now goes in front, okay? And that's part of the challenge here. But you're on your fingertips, Okay, I'm on the, and you see how now I'm on the inside, whereas before I was diagonally on the outside. That's where you started off. Now the hands goes on the inside. Even this hand's on the inside on the diagonal. Now we try to get strong into the left leg the best we can by pressing down through the heel and activating the buttocks of the standing leg. Big toe and pinky toe help me with really my guidance of balance. Okay, so I press big toe and pinky toe down and then work on the lift of the right leg. It's very challenging in this position. Those are your abductor muscles that we worked in the chair pose. You can use your exhales to lift it up, or your inhales, whichever works for you. I'm finding the inhales to be nice to lift, but a lot of times using your exhales is easier on the muscular action of exerting force through the system. Okay, and once again, if this one wasn't accessible or was maybe just really at the edge of the comfort zone, you could stay here or go back to the first exercise. Okay, so step by step, and know that you can always come back to this video and revisit and see if over the course of time, as you've gotten stronger in your outer hips and you've gained more balance in the lower leg muscles and more flexibility, then you can take the next step. Okay, so it's not about sitting out if you're not where I am right now. If you're not up to that, don't sit out, stay in it. Just do the appropriate level of challenge for you. Okay, and that's part of that santosha, accepting of where I am at, staying with it anyway, even though it'd be easier to quit. Okay, so the next step is to come down into bound side angle pose like we did the other day. Now there are numbers of steps, so I'm going to show you here. Actually, before we do bound side angle, you can place the hand behind the heel on a block or lobster claw with the other hand out to the side. So I'm going to show you this version first, okay? And then you lean forward with this hand, helping the balance, and then again, you rise up into Ardha Chandrasana, okay? So this is just a demo. You can just watch me as I do this, okay? And then you can work on it here. Now, you might want to try holding, and what this is leading you up to is bound half moon. And I guess I should show you from the other side so you can see the bind when I take it. Now, why it's so hard to do bound half moon is because you have to stay nice and low and tight to the leg, okay? Like bound side angle that we did a couple days ago. I won't give you all the cues for that since you already have them. You can revisit that video. The back foot taps forward, and it's the same practice. I look down, and then I try to find the balance. Okay, so I can't, I'm not proficient enough at the pose to be able to really talk as I'm doing it. It still takes a lot of focus, at least on the left side. But essentially, it is about, and then what I emailed you about was staying completely focused and on track, staying completely focused on the actions at hand and not getting distracted while you're in it. So yes, staying on the path of your karma, of really diving into the contentment of the challenges that you face and sticking with it, okay? And that's, that's teaching today. There's also the teaching of surrender and letting go, and that's another teaching, and I'm not denying those as really important things. But today's teaching, and should we choose to embrace it, let's try it out. Either take the lobster claw or take your bound side angle and lean forward enough. And again, it's just that I like to keep the standing leg bent for as long as possible. And just focus your attention. I'm going to shut up so I can work, and you as well. Think about getting light. All right. So, one of the most challenging parts is actually lifting that back leg up, not because the back leg is heavy, but because of the balance of the front leg. When, that's why I suggest the lobster claw, because it diminishes balance. But with the other hand, it's like, stepping stones here. You get these stepping stones of makes it harder and harder as you go along, but you get better and better with practice. Okay. So this here, in working through range of motion, is really to help prepare you with the final step of this particular posture of being bound and then still somehow lifting that back leg up. All right. I'll give you another moment to wrap up your pose, whichever one you're working with. Let's stretch the hip muscles that you just really worked out. Starting with pigeon pose on the right side. Place the shin anywhere across the mat. The back leg goes back. I like to go over to the left, bow towards my foot because it stretches more the abductors as well as the buttocks. And let's just take a moment to acknowledge your courage to step into action, even though it would be easier not to. Your courage to stick to your path, even though it'd be easier not to. Contentment with the challenges we face, contentment with the path, the road. This is what Santosha is. And none of us will get it perfect. And that's not the point. We'll all face the resistance. We will all push back against the path, the journey. And we'll all take steps forward. But what this teaching hopefully helps each one of us with is to recognize sooner when we are being resistant and causing ourselves unnecessary struggle, so that when we can see it, we can take new actions and step forward to release the struggle and stand in the fire of the challenges one step at a time. Come back to down dog. Left shin across the mat. Again, any direction or however it lands is fine. Bowing either forward or off to the side like I do. So now as the body starts to settle down, and we can appreciate this physical form and the life that we're living. We have an opportunity to reflect on where we can say yes more into our life's path. Though the challenges might be tough. And they will be. Nothing in nature exists without struggle. And we are a part of nature. But we can either add to that by firing up our resistance to change and growth and transformation internally, externally, in society. We can add to the resistance, we can add to the struggle, or we can step into the challenges and connect with our true nature of change, evolution. It's up to us, each of us, to decide. All right, coming on up. Yeah, sit over to your hip and swing the legs to the back of the yoga mat. Move the pelvis back. You can literally pull your thigh bones back into the sockets. I prefer hip width apart for this variation. Lift and lengthen the chest. And any amount bow forward. And as you're bowed here, take a moment to acknowledge yourself. You just faced one of the most challenging postures in the yoga practice. And again, it's not about the access to the pose itself, but in facing it and facing the challenge and deciding to step in anyway, even though it may look impossible from the outside. Deciding to step in anyway. Each step we take makes it more and more accessible. But ultimately, the growth, the change, and the transformation happens within. Every time we choose. Come on up. Come to lay on the back. Let the feet splay out to the sides when you're ready. Palms face up. If you need, you can do a happy baby pose or hug your knees into the chest. Let's, when you're ready, that is, take a full breath in through the nose. And exhale through the mouth. Let your jaw relax. Let your teeth relax. And now's the opportunity to surrender into what is, into the experience that there is a pulsing heart inside this body, that life's magnificent energy is flowing through you. Tap into it.
Gently bring your breath back to your awareness. Deepen your inhales and exhales. Awaken the fingers and toes. Bend your knees. Roll to your side and come up to a seated position as you are ready. Take your time. Thank you for taking the time to observe your own contentment, which means also observing our discontentment, where we tend to avoid out of either fear of discomfort or it might not fit our walls of our ego and our identity that we've created. In observance of this, may we remember our teaching of contentment in order to take leaps and bounds forward, to stop struggling with our own internal battle and instead start stepping into action, into our karma that is in direct alignment with our life's path, our purpose, dharma. So thank you all for taking this time to do so with your body. You faced a really challenging pose, and you faced it in knowing that maybe it was inaccessible, stepping into the challenge anyway. Knowing that perhaps to the mind it looked impossible, but you started stepping anyway. That is the point. No challenge is too big. It's just the problem, the major problem is not stepping. So thank you for stepping in with me. Let's carry this practice off the yoga mat today. And I would love to hear your reflections in the Facebook group. Let's share together. Let's share courageously and vulnerably the challenges that we face in stepping on our own path, taking action, the struggles that we face, the insecurities that come up. Let's share it so we give words, or we align our words with it, and we take away the power of our insecurities and of our resistance. And instead we give the power to action within. Thank you all so very much for stepping. Again, I greatly appreciate this community and everything that you have done to be a part of it. Namaste. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Just a quick reminder for anybody that's interested in the 300-hour yoga training. I am taking calls this week. There's the 200-hour training is still going on, and that's open enrollment right now. The 300-hour training starts in July. So if you're not yet certified to teach yoga, the 200-hour training is where you start if you want to get certified. If you're already a 200-hour certified teacher and you want to become 500-hour or just get continued education credits, then you take the 300-hour training or any of the modules. The first training is called the body in the 300-hour training, and that one's all things technical, biomechanics, anatomy, techniques to access postures in your physical form and develop your knowledge of the physical form. So that's the first section of the 300-hour called the body, and that starts July 1st. If you want to sign up for that and you have questions about it, it should be on the, if you're on desktop, the 300-hour tab at the top. The body can be taken by anyone, by the way. So if you are not if you're not a yoga teacher, but you just want to take that technique, biomechanic, and anatomy section, it's called The Body. You can sign up for that individually if you're not interested in becoming a teacher by any means. The 200-hour training can be taken by anybody as well, but it does teach you how to teach yoga. And the 300-hour training, the full thing, is really for people that are already 200-hour certified. I hope that clears everything up. Please chat with me and we'll have a discussion. I'm happy to jump on a call with you. And if you have questions, you could also throw them up in the Facebook group. Have a beautiful day, and let's do this together. Namaste.